If someone says you want to talk about sheets for an hour, I'm always going to say yes.
So happy you're here to watch another episode of Sheet Talking here with prolific Oaktree, who is a YouTuber right here creating educational tutorials here on YouTube and beyond. And we talk a little bit about why he has prolific Oaktree and sheetshelp.com. We talk about paywalls at the end. I think this is a pretty fun conversation. I hope you enjoy it. It gets pretty wandery all throughout. This is what sheet people talk about. How many people have asked you, can you just talk about sheets for an hour?
Yeah. Well, I don't. No one has asked exactly that, so I'll give you the first.
People know you as prolific Oaktree, right? And they're like, can we have Mr. Oaktree please talk for an hour about what?
But yeah, it's funny because it's such a goofy thing. We all just started doing it, right? And there's no definition of what it looks like before. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, people are asking me about spreadsheets. Oh, it's because of those 12 videos I did. But throughout I don't know, 5 or 6 years, one that stands out is that you probably know who it is. Someone put together a online Sheets conference.
Oh yeah,
So
Ben
he
Collins.
had,
Yeah,
yeah,
SheetCon.
SheetCon. So that's actually the only time it stands out where I got to talk with. I wasn't making my own video, and I talked for an hour or two because I did one of the presentations on that. But yeah, I think I almost everyone that has gotten a hold of me has just been through Twitter. And I stink at Twitter. I don't even really enjoy social media, but I use it because of the utility of it, right? And I kind of post some things on there, but I'm always think like, oh, no one actually read that, but it's helpful to reach out to people. And I've reached out to other people that way. Also, by the way, I'm drinking since we're on video, you can appreciate this seltzer.
Not sponsored by LaCroix, but powered by LaCroix.
No, but send me a tweet if you would like to sponsor my next YouTube talk. But
So
yeah,
what else?
so
What else do you beyond Sheets? Right, you have a whole career in YouTube videos, but you were. I mean, we connected because you were doing Sheets help a little bit, right? You were either creating a new thing or transitioning more towards Sheets.
yeah, so the main way in which people have found me over the years and connected about spreadsheets is because I have the videos on Prolific Oaktree. And that's been tons of fun, and I'm still making them, but I'm spending a lot of time on. So back up here, here's the situation I have with Prolific Oaktree, right? I love to make videos. I find them like there's nothing better to make a video, and a lot of people are watching, they start asking questions. But one, Prolific Oaktree, like why did I ever call it that? So it's not branded very well in it. I do put things on there about Google Docs or Notion or Google Drive, and I really like that flexibility, so I wanted to keep it the way it was. But then really it's mostly about spreadsheets, right? So I wanted to start something else that was branded from the beginning as Google Sheets. So that's its own. Unfortunately, they're disconnected, and YouTube doesn't work very well with two channels. Like they're totally separate.
Yeah.
And I can try to point people one to the other, but that doesn't work very well. But yeah, so the Prolific Oaktree is the one that happens to get lots of views, and Sheets Help is the one that's more of a rethink of I'm going to start again. I'm going to be very focused. I'm going to deep dive, but I'm going to still do Prolific Oaktree because that's a lot of fun. But they're both mainly spreadsheets and Google Sheets specifically.
I was gonna ask where you got prolific Oaktree from, if it was like a rap name generator or something.
Yeah, I'm from the streets, so no.
Was that your actual porn name? Like your first street that you lived on was Oaktree, and the first pet you had was named Prolific?
No, so here it is. I'm 6'4", right? So some people call you nicknames with variations of trees in them. So someone in gym class called me Oak Tree. And I thought it was pretty funny, but really not a lot of people call me that. So fast forward 10 or 15 years later, I'm trying to think of a a URL because I wanted to start writing tech tutorials.
Mm.
And all the obvious ones were taken. So I just started looking for variations on Oaktree just because I thought it sounded cool. And I got the prolific Oaktree. And at the time, I thought it sounded cool. Now looking back, several times I've asked my wife, like, should I change it? But I
I
think it's
love
too
it.
late. Like now it does have some brand recognition, but at the same time, I think I should just embrace it. So I've gone with just embracing it.
Yeah, that's like a daily struggle, right? Like naming things is like one of the hardest things in the world, and you regret it, and you feel like you're disconnected from it, or you're fully connected and embrace it. Have you what are the things that you've done to embrace it? Like, because you have you gone through this like roller coaster? Have you gone to merch or something? And
Yeah, I just don't feel like I feel like most of the viewers really just get there to figure out a question, a specific
Mhm.
question they have about a spreadsheet. So I had someone make a little fun intro. I kept it really short of an oak tree, and I've done some things where the theme is actually trees in the spreadsheets.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I haven't done a lot on the branding because I really don't know that people care that much. Maybe they
Yeah.
do. Maybe there's a small subset of people do, but I really think at least for if you're a YouTube channel and your tech tutorials, I think your bread and butter is finding out what people want to learn,
Mhm.
getting them starting the video, starting the story, getting them hooked, making them realize that you're going to answer their question and then going into the answer. And that's 99% of it. So the branding is I thought about like do like a goofy coffee mug or something, but I'm just going to spend that time brainstorming on my next video instead.
Like you said, people ask so many questions. It's like you just need to be useful, and the branding is second. But it is sort of um a spectrum, right? Like, yes, people are coming for the solution to the thing, and you can do that on YouTube. You can do that through SEO, through a lot of search stuff, and you can do that by your own branding. Is how useful you are. But it's a spectrum, right? And I've been trying to come away from the useful spectrum to the entertaining. And maybe people aren't entertained in watching this, are like, I'm never entertained. But it's a spectrum, right? It's not like you either have to be entertained or you entertaining or useful. It's a spectrum of like what is it, like one of those cross spectrums where you can be very entertaining or not very entertaining, but you can be very useful or not useful at all, right? And then
Yeah, I tell you,
part of this
um,
spectrum.
when you reached out to me, um, I looked at your website and you do a good job of branding it in kind of a fun
Mhm.
way, but it still seems like you know what you're doing. So there's definitely like I think there's a self-fulfilling prophecy going on there to some degree that I've just given up like oh it's not there. Well, I could create it like you have, and I think you've done a good job of um having your when I look at your website it stands out from well any of the others that I know, and I spend way too much time looking at them
Mhm.
because it does it's fun. So that's good. Stick with that, right? That you need something that makes you unique because you can only differentiate so much talking about spreadsheets, right? So it is good to have a unique brand. So I think you're, from what I've seen, you've done a good job of that.
Um,
So
and I'm literally going through a rebranding. That's why I'm like asking you these questions, and that's it's on the top of my mind recently because I'm literally rebranding things and trying to think like, do I really need to hire a designer? Do I really need to like go through a long process of rebranding when, yeah, you're right. Like you just need to be useful and people will come back time and time again. And that's it. Like if you're not
well,
useful,
I so
nothing.
I think it depends too. So that I'm a lot of times coming from a YouTube channel, and
Mhm.
really the business model there, I try to leave that just a YouTube channel, and you just want someone to come in and watch a video and maybe watch a second one.
Mhm.
I think you are more of an ecosystem where you want someone to actually purchase something, right? Stick around. So you need more of a know, like, and trust, I think. A little bit more of what I'm going for with Sheets help. So I think branding is more important the more of a value add you're trying to present and the more of a professional, and less important when I'm more concerned with thumbnails and
Wait, you're more
hooks in the
concerned with thumbnails?
I have two different personas I'm talking about here a little bit, but with Prolific Oaktree, my user interacts with me by seeing a thumbnail in the suggested column. Sometimes, yeah, thumbnail when they search, forget the stats are, but that's how my brand is presented. So how do you think that people usually find and see your brand?
Well,
If
so I
I'm
have a
allowed to ask
couple.
questions. I know
Sorry.
you reached out to me, but I know you reached out to me, but I'm asking you questions too. It's a two-way
Well,
street.
my YouTube strategy right now is changing and has changed. So originally, for the first 2 years, I was just putting videos up for that some smaller percentage than I had. Right, you're right. The business model is you need to buy my course eventually, right, or buy a tool or buy a template. Like I'm not monetizing on YouTube yet. Also, I wasn't in a position to grow a YouTube channel. But now I see the potential of growing a YouTube channel that is in the Sheets spreadsheet category, that is different, like in the spreadsheet category, but different than spreadsheet help.
Yeah.
Which is bringing me to the YouTube strategy, which is get people to watch the entire video and then watch another video. And then the next video is watch the entire video and watch another video. So that strategy is not necessarily against, hey, go buy my stuff, because it's like, if you're being entertained and watching the channel, you sort of hit on this, is like, you'll come back again and again, you'll become a subscriber, you'll become a follower, and then I can get another video, or there'll be a slight mention about, oh, you can buy this thing, or members can get this extra thing. Like, I'll show the step-by-step tutorial, but I'm like, members got the sheet done. They just got to download it. So I hope that that soft sell keeps people on YouTube so that the YouTube channel can grow, but keeps people also coming and buying membership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you're right that you have to differentiate for that, because there's only a few people that I watch that I actually recognize and kind of like and go back to in this category. And then otherwise it's just the ones like the kind of stuff that I make that's just like answering the question really well. So you've got to be unique and stand out
Yeah,
to do it that way.
and so going back to your original sort of motion was towards thumbnails. I literally spent 2 full days figuring out thumbnails this last weekend, and I switched my thumbnails up 100%, like 180 degree, 100% difference now. They're quite much more on the spectrum towards Mr. Beast, like the very eye-popping, catching, like 1 or 2 words, whereas educational content, and I actually heard about this. So the educational content is, the thumbnail strategy is that the thumbnail shows that there is a solution. If somebody's searching for something and they're looking for a question, they're asking a question, they need to know in that thumbnail that the solution is there. And that's sort of what I tried to go with, but unfortunately, a lot of my YouTube videos and the strategy that I want to employ is not solution oriented. It's not, you ask a question, and it's also not search oriented. Like, what I'm doing right now is what's called trend jacking. I don't know if you know that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can infer.
Exactly. It's a great name because you can figure out right away. So last week I just released, I recreated ChatGPT, which is a trending topic, inside of a Google Sheet. I've done this a couple more other times with other, not trending in like the grand scheme of the world, like, but in sort of pockets of notoriety that I can tell. For instance, people were leaving Twitter, so I created a Twitter clone inside of a Google Sheet, so you can create your entire Twitter.
I gotcha.
So a writer that I like, Kat Rambo, she posted she posted on Twitter a screenshot of her word count across multiple files and stuff. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. And it's like it's just a progress bar, but multiple. And I was like, you could do that in a Google Sheet. She was using Scrivener, right? Because writers will write in Scrivener, and here's our progress bar. But I was like, oh, what if people want to capture their word count across multiple things? We can do it in a Google Sheet. And so I made that like in 12 minutes, and I just started recording the video to be like, oh, I'm going to make this thing here. Oh, here it's done, right? Like trend jacking is pretty simple if you can,
Yeah.
if all you're doing is what I'm doing, which is you see the trend and you attempt to do the trend in a video, and then the title is the trend, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a good way to bring personality into spreadsheets because they can be a bit dry, you know, right? So it's you're making it your job to make them interesting. I've done a little bit of the opposite where I've tried to keep mine and Sheets help even more functional, and I've almost worked backwards. And this has actually made it a lot harder to get viewers, I think, because it's very easy to get video topics if you just start with the functions and make a video about how to use a function. So for example, how to use the count if uniques function. But the problem with that is that no one fires up a spreadsheet and starts with the function and works backwards. So while there are some people who end up with thinking that's the function they need and want to learn more about it and hopefully get those views, that's not the direction that most people work in. So I've had an adjustment period where prolific Oaktree was mostly, oh, if you're trying to do conditional formatting based on a value in another cell, millions of people type that in. Video worked great because people can verbalize that. They don't know how to solve it yet, but with Sheets help, sometimes I'm starting with the solution and working backwards, and that makes it harder. Now yours, I think, are from a completely different angle where you're just, this is a fun idea. Let's put it into a spreadsheet.
But I do the same thing as you just did. I do the same keyword research. I do the same figuring out, and then I literally just reverse the title. So like instead of saying how to use the count if function, it's like how to add up my fantasy football winnings, not winnings,
Yeah,
points. Sorry, I don't play fantasy football, so I don't know why I went that route.
I got kicked out of my league. I kicked myself out, so I'm with you.
Yeah, like people will search for fantasy football spreadsheet templates. That apparently
sure, yeah.
that's a thing that people do. So like if then you have the count if function in there, and then you can always have a count if, like, oh, I solved your problem of figuring out how to add up your points per team. If you want to go into 5 more use cases of this count if function, watch this, right? Which is probably a terrible function. Like, no, I'm ready for my other football league, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Titling the videos, I think, is one of the hardest things to do because I know exactly what that video is about, but do you call it how to count the number of unique items in a spreadsheet with multiple criteria? No, probably not. But you probably also don't call it count unique ifs. So you have to find some way to boil it down that looks good in a search result or a suggested. Kind of tells you what it's about, but
I don't know.
Can't tell the whole thing. So
I don't know how many videos you've made total, but like in the last 3 years, I've made over 1,000 videos. Not all of them are public or published. Because they're usually like half my videos, like more than 500, are literally just me answering a member's question. Like, you ask this, here's the answer in like 2 or 3 minutes.
okay.
But like, I did not realize I have a lot of videos until a friend of mine emailed me and was like, hey, I was looking for, I wanted to do this one thing in Sheets and I couldn't find it on your channel. And the thing he asked for was literally a video. Exactly. I answered his question exactly in this video on the channel that's available on YouTube. And I was like, it just was named differently. It was just named something completely different than he would ever imagine. And I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, yeah, here's the answer to your question. You could have just asked me like what he like even found another video that had a different title. And he's like, oh, you should probably name it what I was searching for. And I was like, sure, but like you're gonna come around, search for this. The next 100 people are gonna search for a completely different thing. Like that
Yeah,
particular example was like such exactly what you said. It's like there's so many ways to describe this one thing. You picked one, you're gonna pick one, you're gonna pick one.
right. Yeah, that's the number of videos. I think I have a couple hundred on Prolific Oaktree. And for years, so I'm a CPA like in my other life, and I become the tech guy at that firm, but I also work with clients a lot and I work with their spreadsheets. So I've always been able to collect ideas because people ask me spreadsheet questions all the time in person. And uh and I always say the real world, but it's all the real world. And so it's a lot of times I guess it's a similar setup to you in that you're starting with questions. Now, what I've done is I've taken that question and I've made it into a 5-minute video, right? I don't script out the actual words, but I do a bullet point outline, and make sure I have a good hook in the beginning, and then uh, record the video and then edit it down to get out all the awkward pauses and ums and uhs and things. So the process takes several days, a week or two if you combine everything. But yeah, I found that direction and that approach puts me like I want to be in the mind of the person who's at the computer. And I know now it's probably at the phone, but
Right.
you know, what they're thinking so that mine comes up first.
But your videos are also
Right?
much
I mean,
higher
that's what I
quality
want.
than mine. I use Loom and then I edit with the script and I will just cut out pauses and I will cut out ums and that's it. Sometimes I will do a little bit more editing, but not much. Not because I think what I do is good. It's like I think the next thing I'm gonna do is better. So
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And I still fall, well, I'm talking about like it's a bad thing. And in this view, still fall prey to like, oh, it's good enough. And then the next one will always be better. But then the problem is when I look at my stats on the new channel too, to a lesser degree, the 80-20 rule, right?
yeah.
So 80% of the views come from 20% of the videos. It's way more exaggerated than that. So I'd say whatever, 95% of the views come from a dozen videos. So that makes me really want to make them good because I want to get a 13th video and a 14th video. But I mean, the other side of that is it's not because those were perfectly edited, right? That's not what makes them popular. It's because, well, who knows? That's the $1 million question. But yeah, the quality versus quantity. But if you feel yours is good enough, it's YouTube, post it, right? Post it,
Yeah.
move on to the next one. There's nothing.
I
It's
wanted to ask you
all.
a question though, before we move too far away from it. You said you get a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions emailed to me. I used to work at a startup for 5 years. I was the Google Sheet guy in the office, so I had a bunch of questions. And anytime I'm talking to someone like a marketer or like someone who's interested in the business, they'll always ask me, what's the number one question you get? And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you. Like, there are just so many questions. Do you have like a number one question or a type of question that people ask you? Like most?
Uh, it's funny. There's a lot of questions that are not about the video. And as for the business model of trying to make good videos and help people understand those videos, it's hard, but I just ignore those. So if it's a conditional formatting video and someone says in Excel, how do you get a date formatting? It's not the video. Yeah, I really want to help that person. I do. And sometimes I answer, but I have to say like, no, that I need to stay focused. But there's no, I'll tell you one that comes to mind that I've been asked a fair amount,
Mhm.
and I think it's a good question on your part because it'll let me talk about something I'm working on. Is that so? There's a fair amount of videos. People are looking at how to sort things, right? Sort and filter, and Sheets, and now Excel too. If we can say that four-letter word, it's not four letters, but you know what I mean. Excel too now.
Yeah, I think the next
Um,
episode I'm talking to someone who has an Excel course.
Shame on you. No, you know, you can even sort and filter with functions now in addition to the menu. Um, and you'll notice I'm like 15 years ago is like yesterday sometimes. I think Sheets has been able to sort with functions forever, but still feels new. Anyway, so people, a fair amount of people have asked, do you know how to make a table sort plate? So when you put an entry at the bottom, it goes to where you think it should go.
Mhm.
And you can't do that with the built-in functionality. So
Right.
I've been having fun making an add-on for that right now. So this will be the third add-on I've made. So that's part of Sheets Help. Why I'm branding it just around Sheets is because I think add-ons is a natural extension of when you're trying to do things in Sheets, some things you can't do. So I've had some people ask if you can. So let's say you have a table and it's sorted by last name, which is the third column. They want to put in information. Once they get to that third column and put the last name in, they want it to go to where they think it belongs in the table. Well, there's a lot of these things like that that would be really confusing if it was built in. Like if you think about it, it's not built in because the record would disappear if you weren't expecting it. And like, where'd that go? You don't know, or if you don't know what's going on. So there are solutions to these things where you can go online, you can find the script, you can open up the app script editor, paste it in there, and then you can deploy it in your sheet. Sure, you can do that, but this, when you make an add-on, then you can just go to Sheets Marketplace, install the add-on, and use it with just a click of a button. But it's so some of the questions, and that's one of the examples, lead to some, you know, gives you kind of a driver's seat as to what people are trying to do, and maybe some of the needs that Google Sheets isn't serving because I think they don't necessarily fit inside of a stock spreadsheet that works for everyone.
And so
That's going to be called Stay Sorted.
Stay
That's
sorted.
going to
Okay,
become
so it's
Stay
not out
Sorted.
yet.
That's a preliminary name. It's not out yet. Should be a week or two. I have someone helping me work on it because I know spreadsheets. I don't know app scripts. Unfortunately, I'm working with a guy that does. He's very good.
Oh, AppScript's awesome. And so wait, you said this is your third add-on. So Stay Sorted is your third add-on. What are the other two add-ons you've made?
Yeah. So back in, I was gonna make a joke about how old it was, but now I'm thinking I don't even really know when it was. 2000. I'm gonna guess, but I'll say 2016. I made a video about how to insert special characters in Google Sheets.
Ah,
And it's funny because I watch it, it's just like, oh, it's really painful to watch because it's the laptop microphone, and I sort of just, I'm talking like this. But still, you can't, if you want to insert like a circled one, right? So you want to put a red circled one on this total, and you want to reference it with a paired circle one on this lead sheet. So I'll talk like an auditor for a little while. Those special characters in Excel, you can go to insert special characters and put them right in. But in Sheets, you have to, and it's not the end of the world, but you can go into Docs, do insert special character, copy and paste it in, okay, or get them off the internet somewhere else. Well, this gives you a sidebar. It's called insert special characters, and it just gives you a sidebar with, and you can search for it, and it just presents special characters. You select it and you can insert it. So you can do, that just allows you, if you have a workflow where you're using special characters, so as an auditor, I would, because I'm using check marks and circled numbers and maybe little symbols showing that I footed something. You can do that all in Google Sheets. And so that, you know, when you context switch, or at least when I do, right, I go to copy something, 2 hours later, I'm still checking my email, right? So it is very valuable for a lot of people, such as myself, to stay in Sheets. So that's one. But the second one is actually really interesting. And there's something that happened recently that I think is neat to talk about. So if you have an address in Google Sheets, okay, so think of your home address.
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 Yeah.
Right. So let's say you're a delivery company and you're organizing your route and you have 12 addresses. Okay. So you have to copy and paste them into Google Maps, get the distance and get the time and even the route and put them back in your sheet if you want to stay in sheets. So now this add-on, this one's called Trip Tally, and it's, you tell it where the beginning addresses are, you tell it where the ending addresses are, and it will fetch that the time, distance, and route and put them into sheets next to it.
Nice.
So I think that's really interesting. Like there are formulas out there that can do that. That again, you put into app script. I think you need a Google Maps API maybe. So you can do it. Like I always have this moral quandary with these add-ons. It's like you can do this without an add-on. Should I do the add-on? Because you can do it.
Yeah.
But I want to do it, right? And I kind of know how to do this stuff. I'd much rather use an add-on. So this thing calculates mileage. But here's the interesting thing for a spreadsheet nerd to think about. I've had videos ruined in the morning when I look at my Google Workspace newsletter. I had one that was really popular, showing you how to rotate text. And popular to me 5 years ago was 100,000 views or something. It was a big deal. I loved it. Well, I get this newsletter from Google. It says, guess what? We've added the ability to rotate text. I was just like, oh, that was my biggest video. Like my day was ruined. Now,
Oh my God.
they control that environment. Obviously, they have every right to do that, right? It's their software.
Yeah.
But just overnight, it just destroys that. Where am I going with this? Oh, so a couple days ago, after I made this add-on Trip Tally, it's really new. I get the newsletter that says they're adding chips. So you know the concept where it's like people chips, file chips.
Yes.
They're great. I can talk about them forever. They're interesting, at least. Now a chip, like a location chip. So when you put it, it's not, I'm on the early release cycle, but I don't have it yet, but it's going to be interesting to see. I hope it doesn't hijack an address field, because then I don't know if the add-on's going to know what to do, because it might change. I don't know if you look at it, if it's going to still remain 123 Sesame Street, New York, New York, or if it's going to do something where it just becomes a link.
Well,
right. Because in that case, go ahead.
You can test this out with the other chips they have, because I don't think drop-down chip changes the data in it.
I'm going to do it.
But maybe the location might, because just like Google will change, not necessarily change, but do stuff with formatting dates. If it's like a formatted date, it'll change it. But the underlying data, it will be a Google Sheets data. Like with date, it's what, some number, the number of days since January 1st, 1900. So if you put in a date, it changes that date to that number.
Right. It's still really just that number.
Yeah. But it'll change your date to that number, right? So hopefully, like you said, it's still a chance they're going to change it. But if you look at the drop-down chip, it doesn't change the data. But also it wouldn't change the data for drop-downs. Shouldn't. But location, it might change.
So I typed an @ symbol, and like I see people, files, but the funny thing with these is that these aren't data types you would put in. I suppose you could put in a link to a file. I'm trying to think of one that's, I guess, a drop-down. Then you would populate the drop-down and then see. So you're saying if you put in a drop-down and you put in different values and you select the value and then you reference that cell, it's going to be that piece of text.
Yeah, but that is what you would expect it to do. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it does things you don't expect it to do. Like,
but yeah, it would be a big, I guess it would, especially for the drop downs, it would have to do that, because some people use a drop down value to feed into another function.
Well, and I'm just also thinking of the analogy to dates. Like if you put in a date and then you change the format of the date, I don't think sometimes the date doesn't change. In some instances it does. Yeah,
that I agree with you, and that's its own interesting topic. I was on Sheets Help. I was writing I did a basics section, which really made me rethink, like start from the beginning, right? One of it was, I thought I was going to write a page about data formats, but then I realized there's data types, and then there's formatting on top of that. But I I wouldn't have thought of it that way until I wrote that, because a date is a number, but then there's date formatting, but it's still, the data type is still a number, but then the data formatting can be different. So like if you take December 12th, 2021, you can multiply it by 4.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense, but you could.
Yeah.
So there's this weird, I mean, I think 90% of spreadsheet users would not really know the difference. And that's why dates are always confusing, because you're usually not using them as a number, but then occasionally you want to find the length of time that passed between two of them. And then you have to go in this weird world of like, you thought it was a label, but now it's a number, but you can actually do math with them. Don't get me started. I told you I'd talk all night about spreadsheets.
I think the hardest video I made that I can remember about dates was trying to add a month. Have you tried to do
All right,
that?
tell me what does that even mean? So add a month
So you have
to
a
what?
date. You have a date,
Right? It's
say
like the whole thing is
February.
confusing.
Oh yeah, February 15th, and you want to select. You want to say 1 month later. What's the date 1
Oh
month
yeah.
later?
Yeah,
And
that's confusing.
not all months have 30 days, 30, 31, 28. You cannot add just +1. You don't necessarily know if that person do they mean the 15th to the 15th.
Right. Do they mean 30 days?
I mean, it
Yeah,
would. I
4
don't even
weeks.
think I actually solved the person's problem. I think I just got onto the because it's such a specific. Yeah, all I remember what about this video, because it was scraped it from my memory, was finding out of EO month function, which
Hmm.
is if you give it a date, it'll tell you the end of the month, the day of that month. And then with that,
Yep.
there's also, you can +1 that to get the next month, because you don't necessarily know what the next month is for all intents, but like it's such a, you got to do a lot of stuff to figure out what's 1 month later or what 1 month earlier. It's
All
very,
right, stay with me here. I have a proposed solution.
oh God, I don't want to get into this.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Take said date. So let's say 2/15/22. I wonder if you could say, if you could run month, day, and year on it, and then just, no, you could say
Yeah.
equals month, reference it, +1, and then day, reference it, and year, reference it. So it would just return same thing with one
Again,
more month,
that's okay. So
maybe.
get this. If you add, okay, if you do that, right? If you take just the day, the month, the year, add one to the month, then what happens on January 31st?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, because of what I said, assumes a month is just right, a
Right.
flat or a predictable. Huh.
So like what I mean, the
Ooh.
answer is actually more in the question of like questioning the question, because it's like, wait, what do you mean by 1 month later? Do you just mean 30 days, or do you mean like 28 days, like 4 weeks later? Do you mean
Yeah.
the next month, the same day, and then you're just gonna like screw around with February? Like you'll
Yeah.
never, the next month day will never be March 30, March 29th, March 30th, right? Like um it's it's a tough one.
Yeah. And you need, without those purpose-built date functions, you wouldn't be able to do any of it, because they're at least aware of the number of months in a date, and they're aware of when leap year is, but still something, actually exactly what you said is probably one of the hardest things
and
to do that should be easy,
and part of that,
but maybe because no one really knows what the question is.
but what I was sort of intuing too is part of that was an easier answer to a different question, which is what's the next month? If you have a date, what's the next month? Which I discovered this EO month, end of month function, which
Yeah.
tells you, given a date, what's the end of the day at the end of the month, and then you can +1 that. Or you can also do the other one. It's like, oh, what was last month? And this is really helpful for forecasting and certain sheets where you just want to know, also project management, task management. If you're like, what's the end of the month? Like, I need to do this, this, and this by the end of the month. Because you cannot say, especially end of the month is always weird, if the due date is the end of the month, it's going to be February 28th, March 31st, January 31st. It'll be 30th of some months, 31st of others. So that end of month function becomes very useful.
Yeah, and then you have all. I realized that moving you over to more where my camera is, and then you have functions that are aware of the weekdays, right? Or
Yeah.
work days.
Yeah,
So
weekdays
it's the
versus
same
work days.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, and then you can have the ones that are the international. I don't know why this is international, but you can define different. Well, holidays would be international, but different weekends.
Yeah.
There's endless content that you can do about those.
So what I found was that the sort of sameness of all the questions, like I said, I never can say what is the number one question I get. But have you found this to be true? I get questions a lot, and they'll always say, this is so specific. They'll add that caveat. And I'm like, or have you ever gotten this situation? And I almost want to say, like, no, because like every situation is different. Everything is specific.
I thought you were going to say they say it's so specific, but you look at it and it's really the same. So you threw me off
Oh no!
with your
Oh,
question.
wait, is that what you get? You get the same different question, but it's the same question all the time. I get the opposite.
No, not really. I mean, but it is kind of funny. Like I'll get questions where they'll type out a spreadsheet grid in the comment field, right?
Wow.
And then ask a question on it. And then after a certain point, it's just like, I will do consulting for you if you would like to contact me, but if it's this specific, it's not a question that's going to be helpful for other people if you ask it on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes the strategy, and I don't do this that much because my business plan doesn't do a lot of consulting, but I had a canned email for a while. Like, when I would get questions, I would say something to the effect of, hey, I'm really busy. Thanks for the question. If you would like to engage me, here's my rate. And it's a way of saying, like, I'd be glad to do this for you, but there's value to it. So if you would like to engage me, I'd, do it, which is actually a couple of times it's worked. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll do it now. But no, I mean, it's just there's funny questions, and there's a lot of the questions though. My true response is, I'd really have to see your sheet,
100%.
right? Like, you can even paste the link in this comment if you want. Sometimes it's relevant, but like, they're trying to get me to, and I get it. Like, I'm not saying they're being annoying, but they're trying to get me to answer a very specific question that they're looking at on their screen and I can't see, but they're trying to generalize it in a way. I'm like, I don't know, there's 17 different ways to solve that, but I need to see what you're talking about. So get a fair amount of those.
100.
But
I run a Facebook group called I Love Google Sheets, and it was originally the intent. What I intended it to be was people sharing interesting sheets. Like, I thought there would be a large amount of people making interesting things in Google Sheets. I did not realize it was about a dozen people in the world.
Yeah.
So the intention was there, but what it ends up being, and now day to day, it's about anywhere between 5 and 15 questions of people having a Google Sheets problem. And people get into it. They will write so much stuff. And at the end of it, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like, can you just share the sheet? Like, I even added a rule recently to just share the sheet, because like people are screenshotting, people are taking photos of their screen and then pointing to a cell. And I'm like, you didn't even show A1, A, B, C. Like, they crop out the information that I will I will look at your screenshot. I will look at your photo of your thing. I will try to read it and understand the problem, because I'm just always looking for video topics. But they make it very
so
hard.
tell me what because usually questions to me are just a supporting function of my videos. But for you, tell me what is your ultimate business model?
Well, so the original intention, and sort of still is the main model, is that it's tutorials to get you better sheet. Like, literally, it's called Better Sheets, to get you just a little bit better. So it's not, I try to avoid the term tips and tricks because I don't necessarily think it's like a trick. It's like more like a better practice. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
I sat inside of a startup where I was the Google Sheets guy, and 30 people were using the sheets that I made. And then I also had to like deal with 30 people. Like, I had to give them product. I had to make something productive for them to use without having to come to me. Because 30 people, if you work in an office and there's 30 people coming to you for questions and they need to do their work, like that's not sustainable. So I found these like
Okay. Yeah.
sustainable practices that just consistently were, make things very clear for people where they need to fill it in, make things easier to read. Also, I was using Google Sheets for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day and finding myself getting headaches. So I had to like lower the contrast. I have some like early tips and tricks that I've continued to like say a lot, like lowering the contrast, making headers different than what you normally do, which is like bold the headers and make them big and stuff. And it's like the header is the least amount of information we ever need. So it's those kinds of things that are like going to make your sheets consistently, sustainably better. And that's like a tutorial thing. But recently in the last year, so I've been running this for about 3 years. In the last year, I realized that a lot of my suggestions could be done in AppScript. And so then I ended up
Okay.
sharing a lot of AppScript, and then sharing the fact that like 10 years ago, I started doing AppScript. And the reason why I was the Google Sheets guy was because I was coding in AppScript. And I was like, oh my God, it wasn't Google Sheets that ended up being the thing that people were coming to me for. It was this AppScript that I was writing. I was writing AppScript for the company and to run these creating internal tools. So I was like, oh, let me teach AppScript. And then after teaching AppScript, I was like, well, actually, can I just make a tool that does the thing that I'm telling you to do? So here's like a tutorial about, here's a better practice. Here's how you can learn AppScript to do that or do that more. And then I just built tools to do that thing. So my Google Sheet
Okay.
add-on, first one I made was Sheet Styles, which lowers the contrast and you can set different contrast to your page.
Yeah. I saw that.
I
Let me
also
look
made
at it over
tiny
your phone.
sheets because I kept needing a 1 cell sheet. I just kept making more sheets when I needed them. So that makes it in 1 click instead of like 10 to 12 clicks. It's 1 click.
What do you use a one cell sheet for?
So I do a lot
Just to
of,
hold a piece of data that you reference?
exactly. So instead of using named
Okay.
ranges, uh, in AppScript, I can say get sheet by name and get the range A1. I don't have to
Uh-huh.
think about where it is.
So why do you make a free add-on?
Oh, I make a free add-on because I literally don't know how to charge for it. I have not figured that part out. I think it's a bit of license key uh thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I can connect you with the guy that I use. And I'm asking that because I didn't know if it was just a funnel to bring more people to you, or if it was a fun project or a little bit of both. It's just curious.
It's everything. Like I only built that add-on because I was like I ended up making an add-on the first time almost by accident because I was like, this is the app. I wrote the app script that does the thing. And I was like, oh, just copy the app script. It's same as you were saying before, like just copy this app script. And I have a ton of app scripts in Better Sheets that people pay for and get and they'll use. Like Only Sheets, I created a way to do like a paywall, like it's OnlyFans for Google Sheets, where you can sell a Google Sheet and you don't have to give the internet access to your sheet. You can keep it restricted, and this only adds the buyer as a user of a viewer. That's still an app script, and I sell it as an app script that you have to download, copy, and put into your sheet. And I have some tutorial videos
What
with that.
you're able to, would you say you're able to make a paywall for a sheet, essentially?
Yeah. So Only Sheets, what it does is if you sell it on Gumroad, for instance, so it hooks up to Gumroad and also Stripe if you ask me to. But it's usually Gumroad, and I'm adding more. I want to add more because I set up someone with Zapier as well, or Shopify to Zapier. But basically, as long as you can get the buyer's email address. So Stripe customer data has that if you get a purchase, You can get the
Yeah.
API that'll send you the email. Same with Gumroad has Gumroad Ping, that it'll send you the customer's email address when they purchase something. And so it's a webhook that just captures that. So we set it up, deploy the app script as a web app, as a do post or do get, now I forget, but it's a web app, webhook capture. And then once it does that, it's in your Google Sheet, and you can select a Google Sheet to say, I want everyone who purchases this product access to this sheet, and it'll automatically add that one user as a viewer of that sheet without you having to do anything.
Yeah, I may be asking you about that in the future. So have you seen spreadsheet.com?
Yeah. Isn't that like a alternative to Google Sheets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. And I switched over to that for a while and made some content and made a site that had members only functionality. Well, still there has members only functionality, but I did that by, a user can pay to be a member, and then they log in. So it's an authenticated session. Then they can see the post that just has a link to a spreadsheet that they couldn't see otherwise. So there's some level, you have to, so that's the way that I control the access, but it's interesting that it can be done in the way that you explained. I think that in some way, in certain situations, certainly that's better.
Right. So the way you explain is how people will sell sheets is Gumroad offers you a paywall. Stripe gives you a payment link. Podia, anytime you have a paywall, the thing you'll do is you'll just set that Google Sheet to anyone with the link. So now you can just give that link to anyone who paid. You can put it in email, automatic email. You can sell it through ConvertKit Commerce and just email, here's a link to the sheet you bought. What I found with that is people don't do this maliciously. They do it just because they want to spread your word.
Even if they can't share it, they can make a copy and share it if they really want.
100%, right? So what it does is it prevents the first person, or not, it doesn't prevent, sorry. It just adds one road bump, one little extra thing that they can't just get the link and share the link, because they actually can still get the link and share the link, but then the other person's not going to have access because it's not anyone with the link. So
okay, right.
It's totally fine. Like I talk about this a lot to people who want to sell sheets, who are just making like one or two templates. Like, just brand the hell out of the sheet, right? Like, just know that 100% of the time people will share it. Like, if you make a sheet and people don't share it, you haven't made a sheet that's useful enough. Like, make sure that it's useful enough to share, and then brand it so that when someone gets it, they're like, I know exactly who made this. Like, it has links to your site, it has your logo in it or whatever. The colors look like you. And then everyone's happy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was looking through my email the other day and I got a $7 PayPal payment. I thought, oh, cool. I don't know what that's for, but cool. And then I looked at it and I realized that someone, because I have a similar feeling where a lot of people are using my sheets, but some of them, their sheets for businesses. So I had made a video about a depreciation schedule for the accounting department, and I put a little link in there. I said, if you use this or depreciate, a payment for the value that you get from it. And at first I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I think I'll get a little revenue. Well, that didn't really work. And because that was 5 years ago, but then I got a payment in my email and I had to dig it up and I got a link to that sheet. I was like, oh, well, I remember doing that.
That's good passive income, $7 every 5 years.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's I could probably get a new car soon with that.
Nice.
But that's a great thing about doing this stuff online is that you can try 100 different things and finally find what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Before we go, I wanted to ask you, are you an A1 or a B2 kind of guy?
B2 all the way. Great question.
You skip that first column. They're dead to you.
Please don't tell me you're an A1 guy.
I'm back and forth. If I know, probably like 95% of the videos that I make are like B2, but like every once in a while you'll catch me on A1. Because like I'll know I'm
I
gonna
did not
fill.
expect that question. I do consciously think of that when I, especially like when I do a pivot table too, I never put it up against the
Right.
border. But I think about it, I also think there's no reason why I'm doing this, but it just doesn't feel right to put it up against the border.
Right.
It's not really feng shui. It should be in A1, but it doesn't look right in A1, so I'm not going to put it there.
Yeah, you're
Great
right.
question.
It's like a New York City apartment. Like you gotta be right up here. We don't have the space, but we have an
Yeah,
infinite amount of space. Oh, just move it here. What's your favorite
exactly.
formula?
Oh man, formula. So
Mhm.
not a function, so it can be more than one. It's got to, well, in all honesty, it's got to be XLOOKUP.
X
You know,
lookup.
in my real, there I go with the word real. In my CPA job, I did a lot of training on XLOOKUP, kind of made a joke like, don't ever use VLOOKUP. It's gone. You will never need it. But it's actually true. If I've been using VLOOKUP for 5,000 years because I'm that old. And once you use XLOOKUP, it's like, I didn't realize how clunky VLOOKUP was because you learn it, it's weird, and then you just remember how to do it because you've done it 100 times.
You
And
remember?
XLOOKUP is just all you
I feel
need.
like that's a superpower, remembering how VLOOKUP works.
Yeah, it is. And, it's one of these things where there's several functions I never touched until I went to the job I'm at now. And there's specific use cases where you use it every day. Or I could go to another job and never use it again, right? It just depends what you're doing. I want to know your favorite formula.
Well, my favorite, I think, is if. It's just magical. It's so
Mm.
simple and so magical. Like it makes things appear, disappear, combining if with is blank, combining if with checkboxes. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then I think my most useful one being a formula combination is index match, which is like the poor man's XLOOKUP.
Right. Yeah. That was just getting ready. I was just loading up there to give you a hard time now. Isn't that depreciated or deprecated with the XLOOKUP? Or
I
do you
have never
purposely use that?
even
Oh, wait,
No,
don't even,
XLOOKUP is
please
so
don't even
new
say
in
it.
Google Sheets. I think they just isn't that like last year or 2 years ago? Didn't XLOOKUP just get added?
Yeah, it did. And it was such a big deal that, in our tiny little world, people made a million videos about it because everyone knew Excel had it for a while. And then it finally came to Google Sheets.
I don't even think I've
Um,
ever looked it up. Like I just use index match all the time still. Like that's in my
yeah,
heart. I remember that.
well, if index match works, and I'm just giving you a hard time. However,
Mhm.
um, you won't need it again once you use XLOOKUP.
Right.
You really won't. Because that's
Mhm.
people that were good at VLOOKUP but wanted to do certain things had to use index match. But now XLOOKUP does what VLOOKUP did and
Mhm.
index match.
Right. So
Thank you for the
maybe that's
softball.
what
I love that.
I did notice. I thought for a while that VLOOKUP was the most searched for formula in Google Sheets in Google, but actually now it's I think some if is the number one search for
Oh,
Google formula. I think.
that makes sense if people started to move away from. I think it'd take forever for people to move away from VLOOKUP, but that makes sense. Maybe that's why, because XLOOKUP's a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Not that I've been looking up
How do you
keywords or anything.
yeah, what's your source? How do you I'm not a big keyword guy. Key subject maybe. Well, that's not even a word. Anyway, how do you look up keywords for stuff like that? I know there's different ways to do it, but I'm curious what you do.
Well, I don't really. So
You don't
again,
have to
I've
give if you
done.
have secret sauce. You don't have to give away your
No, I don't
secret
use like
sauce. So I'll respect that.
Ahrefs. No, I don't use Ahrefs. I'm happy to share the secret sauce. It's fun. Because it's not so secret. So, sorry. So Ahrefs, like keyword tools, like that kind of stuff. I use cat
Yeah.
links with a K. Uh, but it's not as powerful as Ahrefs, but it's also 10% of the price. Um, and there's a bunch of free keyword lookups. And I did that for a while thinking that just do the thing that SEO people say to do, which is the basics, like look
Yeah.
up the keywords, find the ones that are rankable, that are high volume. And I just found that so boring. I was just
Yeah.
falling asleep with these spreadsheets full of SEO keywords. So that's why I got into more trend jacking. I want to do things outside of the world of Google Sheets and bring a Google Sheet into it, then do Google Sheets. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. And especially after COVID, just the straight up Google Sheets videos there's tons of good ones now. So yeah, you got to have a new approach. I think that's a great idea.
And I didn't realize what I'm about to say. I did not realize for the last 3 years is that it's unbelievably interesting that I can code in Sheets. Like AppScript takes Google Sheets to a whole nother level that I didn't know because I was on that level and I didn't realize, oh, this is different. So now I'm doing workshops almost consistently. I think I'm going to be doing them more and more, of getting more and more people into automating Sheets and using AppScript, because I think that just unlocks the absolute power of Google Sheets. And it's free. It's so easy to access. It's right there. It's just 2 buttons away. Extensions
Yeah.
AppScript.
So again, this is interesting to suss out a little bit, is that I think there's somewhat of a honey hole there, because spreadsheet users are the ones who want are small to medium sized business. They work in the administrative side of a small or medium sized business. I'm saying small or medium because they use Excel usually in the bigger companies. And those people don't code, right? So they have specific use cases that they want to do, but they're not in a world of people. I don't know how to code. So, so I think you can approach them. Here's where I'm going with this. Some other people that I happen to know in the space are really into AppScript, right? And they market AppScript, but I think they do it at kind of a more programmer-ish approach and level. And to me, it's like, that's just too complicated. I'm not gonna do it. So I think there's an opportunity there for regular person app script usage, right? Where you have this regular everyday problem that's really time consuming to solve in Sheets. I can show you how to do it with lightweight programming, right? Because the stuff that I see is it's app script, and then it'll do, and this is giant explanation. Like, well, the person that realizes that problem is that way is going to be doing that. They're going to be coding anyway. So I think you could have, I don't know how long you've been using that approach, but I think there's some real potential there to, you're not showing them how to write complicated code. You're showing them the easy way to automate Sheets. And I don't know if you mess around with app Sheets too. Well, that's making an app. You're trying
I
to
haven't
say
even
in
touched
Sheets.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Wouldn't it be that? I think it'd be app scripts. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
And I mean, so many. And one of the reasons I did this is because literally in the Facebook group, I love Google Sheets, people will ask a question and then someone will write, "This can be done in AppScript. DM me and I'll write it for you." And I'm like, yeah, I would say that too. Or I'll say, "Oh, I did this for a little bit." I would say, "Oh, that can be done in AppScript." And then that person would probably, "Oh, can you write that for me?" I'm like, sure, like maybe, like, okay, I'll maybe make a video, and in the video I'll write this app script so that I have some content and you get the answer. But like, again, I didn't realize how few percentage of people write app script until this kind of massive amount of people kept asking these questions. I'm like, oh, that's an easy app script. Oh, that's an easy app script. I can write that in 5 minutes.
But it's not though. Yeah, I've had people write them. I've made videos. I make the app script available, and it doesn't work for some people, and I can't answer their questions. So like, I'm getting this error. I'm like, sorry, man. You can contact the person in the video description that made it, but it's hard. Yeah. I think you give yourself credit. It's complicated.
So that's also where now I'm going into sort of a bifurcated setup, where if you want to go this route of, okay, you know Google Sheets and you want to take it to the infinite level, learn AppScript, and I can teach you the basics and get you into AppScript. But then also the AppScript that I'm doing, instead of making them available as AppScript, or sorry, in addition to making them available as AppScript, I'm also going to be making them into tools and sort of another product, so that someone who doesn't know AppScript and doesn't even want to copy and paste this and use it and deal with it, they can still get the benefit of it. They can get the benefit of that.
Yeah.
So.
And you talking about putting in the workspace marketplace as an add-on?
Yeah, add-ons. I have like a list of like 25 add-ons I want to write. But the process is so slow. I'm dealing with my fourth one now, and it's a bit. I don't want to say what it is yet, because I don't know if it's going to get through the whole process. I'm scared it won't. But I'll speak about the topic that it is, which is, I think, in addition to AppScript, the ability to get AI into Sheets, I think, has been just one of those moments in time in the last 6 months to a year that I've been like, oh my God, fundamentally, this might change Google Sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be huge. You just have them make a quarterly report out of a table of data that you have or something.
Or you,
Yeah,
well, and you can be able to write. So some people are doing things like, I know there's Formula Bot, I know there's Sheets AI. They're trying to do things so that you write the thing you're trying to do, and then it'll like maybe do it for you. Is that what you're talking about? Like, okay, I want to say, produce the quarterly report from this tab. Yeah.
I hadn't thought about how you would do it, but yeah, right. Like, yeah, I guess you just have to tell it in plain English what to do, and then it just goes and does it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to see it when it's done.
Well, if you watch, I don't know if you've watched any of the AI videos I made, because I just made in the last few weeks. So I made literally a ChatGPT that works with OpenAI's API inside a sheet. So you can have a question and answer. So just like ChatGPT, but inside a sheet. And then I also just did a basic tutorial on how to use the OpenAI's API to write a prompt. So that all has
started. Can it access?
Sorry?
Can it write data into cells?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, just for members last week, which by the time this video will be out, it'll be out for publicly. But I wrote like a little tweet hook writer with AI inside of a sheet. I might do some more like clones or app clones around AI, because there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of AI writers and AI apps. Like my friends made Ellie AI, which answers your emails with AI. But you can get in AppScript, you can take Gmail emails into your sheet, so you can sort like which ones you haven't replied to. I already made not AI at all, but I tag all of the members. If you become a member, I'll tag all your emails in my Gmail as a member. And I did that with AppScript.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Maybe I could take in any unreplied to emails that I get, put it in the sheet, write the email reply with AI, and then send that reply. Maybe. I actually don't know. I'm being coy about this, but I don't know. I thought that would be funny.
All right, let me show you my this is going to be the grand finale. Okay, this is unplanned. So I had a video idea over the summer. I forget how I got inspired by it. And by inspired, I mean, now I look at it like, why did I ever think I was going to do that? But I still might. Still might. So this requires, I think it's probably because I got a good camera. And I thought it would be really cool to act like I just bought VisiCalc. So I didn't know what that was. Again, I look at so much spreadsheet stuff. I'm not quite sure how I found it. Maybe it's like a 30th anniversary or 40th anniversary. So anyway, I went on eBay and I bought a copy of VisiCalc.
That's great.
And what I want to do, it's wonderful, isn't it? It's beautiful. What I thought I would do is like film myself walking up to the mailbox and act like I got a package and then put it down and do like an unboxing of
Oh,
VisiCalc,
awesome.
and then act like I was putting it into a computer, like not even like joke, like stick it into a laptop in the
Yeah.
clamshell because I don't have a drive sitting around, and then start up an emulator and talk about like how it's automatic dark mode. And like there's a lot of things that have changed a lot. So I was going to present those as improvements to Google Sheets. I don't know if it'd be a short or a whole video, but that's the most original video that I would have, and that's why I haven't done it, because I tend to think like an accountant. I'm like, but that's just, I don't even know how I do it. It'd
Then
be a
I
lot of fun, and so I haven't started it yet.
then I have to admit something to you. I will tell you this, and anyone who's making it through this video, if this video goes up on my YouTube channel before April 1st, I'm now revealing my April Fool's joke for this year.
Okay.
It is no, I am not kidding you. 100% I'm creating a VisiCalc emulator in Google Sheets.
No.
No, yes. How about you do the intro and I'll do the sheet? Because I'm like, I literally recreated
I,
VisiCalc inside, like how stupid it is. It has the stupidest features because I've like had to jam VisiCalc inside of a sheet, right?
yeah,
Do you want to hear how
I
stupid
think
this
this
is?
needs to happen. Yeah.
Okay, so VisiCalc had a limit to the amount of rows and columns, right?
Okay.
And Google Sheets doesn't. I mean, technically there's a 10 million cell limit, right?
Yeah.
That's far more than VisiCalc. So what it does is when you use the VisiCalc emulator inside of a Google Sheet, if you try to add a column or add a row, it automatically deletes it. So it doesn't allow you to add more columns or
Okay.
rows. That's one feature that I programmed into this.
That's wonderful. And you're going to do it for April Fools. That's creative.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to do the intro.
you,
We'll get together about it.
that would be awesome. I almost want to wait.
No, I think that's a good idea.
I want to save this chat for April 1st, but the hardcore fans of yours and mine are going to be watching this, and so they'll get an inside tip to the what our April 1st joke is.
Yeah, when we get off, tell me when you post it, because I don't know that anyone reads the community wall on my channel, but I'll definitely put it on there.
Before you leave and people leave, is there anything else other than sheetshelp.com that you want to point people to?
The most interesting thing that I've done lately is that add-on called Trip Tally. I think it's neat. I think there's got to be a fair amount of people, I'm guessing, / hoping, that are working with addresses in Google Sheets, and they take them somewhere else or go back and forth to really tally up how far you have to go, right? So I think there's going to be a fair amount of people that are planning a route that could find it useful to not have to leave their spreadsheet in order to do it. If you do it yourself with AppScript, you have to do something with the API. Trip Tally, not so much. Taken care of for you.
Cool. Thanks so much for coming, Adam. Go to sheetshelp.com. Thank you so much for watching that conversation between Adam, Prolific Oaktree, and myself. If you're looking for more sheet talking, casual conversations with other sheet people, check out this playlist. And if you're looking for the next video from Better Sheets, go over here, watch it here on YouTube. And thank you so much for watching either of these. Pick your choice. I'd go with more sheet talking if I were you.